right, well, good afternoon. Thank you for being on time. It's good to hear the conversation already happening. And just friends seeing friends that haven't seen each other for a long time. It's so great to be back in community and together breaking some bread. My name is Jim Shapiro. I will be your MC today at this wonderful event. I am the head football coach at Kings High School and longtime friend of Vision House. So I'll take the round of applause. Thank you very much. Go Knights. Well, I want to thank you for being here today, and really the whole point is to make a difference in the lives of homeless children and their families. I don't know about you, but I want to make a difference, and I would love to see a space and a place where there's no homeless kids. And having been around this work, I realize it all starts with the power of one night. And so you're here today throughout my words and others, the importance and the power of one night of safety, which is key to the first step out of trauma, out of abuse, and out of homelessness. And so together with Melissa and the board, we've identified 10,000 nights of safety. That's the goal for moms and kids this year. And so today we're going to try and do our best to raise money to fund those 10,000 nights. You know, it only costs $60 to provide a night of safety, which is a really simple dollar amount that yet multiplied over days, weeks, months can be transformational in the lives of the moms and kids that are served through Vision House. So I'm so grateful that you're here. There's still more chicken to be had, a little more food, a little more conversation, but let me just open us up in a word of prayer. I will bless this time, and we'll give you a few more minutes to finish that delicious lunch. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you and just thank you for this day. This is the day you have made, Lord, and we thank you for friends and family and coworkers coming together here today to break some bread and to consider what we can do to invest and give to the power of one night. Lord, right now there are moms and kids and families that are living on the streets, and some that aren't, some that have entered into care, and Lord, we just pray for them. They need you. Lord, we need you. We thank you for this day. Again, we thank you for this event. We ask your blessing over it and the food we're about to eat. In Jesus' name, amen. Enjoy your food. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, let's get back to the show. Isn't it great to hear a room full of voices? I wish I could listen in on your conversations. A lot of laughter and good things happening. You know, I'm going to ask you to do something you don't normally do at an event, and that is actually to get your phone out. So let me see all those wonderful phones. And what I'd love for you to do is, you're probably on social media somewhere, maybe Twitter or Facebook, or if you're like me, I'm still on MySpace from 20 years ago. But I'd love for you just to take a picture or make a comment. I'm going to take a quick selfie, by the way, so everyone smile real quick. Here we go. And I want you to go tag it right now. Like, we got a couple hundred people in the room. We could overwhelm social media. You can use @VisionHouseSeattle as your tag or as the thing you want to post, because right now we can be a voice on behalf of homeless moms and kids, even through social media. And then when you're done with that, you can mute your phone, because that's the right special event thing to do, so we're not interrupted when we hear from Melissa and Dr. Jantz and others later on. So thank you for posting. Again, @VisionHouseSeattle is the @ you can use in any of your tags. Love it. Look at these pictures being taken. Thanks for doing that. You know, there's some people here today that we'd also like to acknowledge a lot to make this event happen. And first of all, we'd like to just acknowledge our elected officials and hopefully some soon-to-be elected officials. I know they're in the room. We're excited and encouraged that you're here to stand in the gap on behalf of homeless moms and kids. So thank you again for your service and your willingness to serve our community in that capacity, much needed in today's world. Next, we would like to thank our table hosts and sponsors for inviting you to come today. This room is full because of their passion and commitment to making a difference in the lives of children and their families. So why don't we give our table hosts a round of applause. You know, my day job is in nonprofit charitable work. I advise and consult nonprofit charities, and I can tell you that the board here at Vision House is a great group of people. They really care about the mission. And so I want to recognize the Vision House Board of Directors, both past and present. These volunteers have faithfully provided leadership and guidance to Vision House for over 32 years, and they're dedicated to helping families experiencing homelessness start on a new path. And so again, just want to give that whole group a round of applause. But board members, could you stand if you wouldn't mind? I know it's that embarrassing thing to do at a special event, but just stand. I need to see a handful of people standing. Thank you so much for your service. It means a lot. It's a volunteer role, and they really dig deep into the mission of what's going on. I'm hopefully going to be full of good news today, and one of the pieces of good news is that this event has been fully underwritten. So the cost of this event is taken care of, and so through our corporate sponsors and every dollar that's been given that you donate today will go directly to fulfill the mission of Vision House and to help homeless moms and kids. And so that in itself, I think, is worth a round of applause. We're going to do a couple of these. Let's thank you for our underwriters. And I just want to give them a little bit of screen time or a little bit of stage time because these businesses do believe in this work, and I think it's important that we also give back. And so we're going to start. There's multiple levels of supporters here today. At the support level, we recognize the contributions of the corporate sponsors that are going to be shown on the screen. We so appreciate your compassion for families experiencing homelessness and for making a significant difference in their lives. So we got a few businesses up there. We thank you for your generosity and for your commitment. Again, make note of these businesses. I would sure hope that you would be a consumer of them or be someone that understands the importance of their gift. At the $1,000 friend level, we thank these generous sponsors as well on the screen. We're grateful for their support and really standing in the gap for struggling families who need nights of safety and a path to a better life. So thank you. If you're one of these businesses here in this room, thank you so much. We'll give them a round of applause. I like it. We have a few other levels. At the $5,000 and $7,500 inspiration level, we want to recognize the Association Reserves, Biella Foundation, and Home Street Bank. Thanks to each of you for making a difference in the lives of homeless children and their families. Okay, right now you guys are all doing a golf clap. You ever been to a golf tournament? That's like one of these. Like, we should be doing a football clap. We should be cheering for these folks. So this next one I want to hear. All right, let's try it. Here we go. Loud cheer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Loud cheer. Woo! All right. Yeah, good. All right, that's enthusiasm. That's what we're looking for today. So we're going to do that again here at the 10,000 heart level. We would like to thank Connor Holmes. Yeah. All right. Dunn Lumber and Zevenberg Capital as well. So let's give those folks a round of applause. This is the one thing you don't really like to do a lot of special events, but you guys are doing great. You're really being loud. It's like more clapping. And so we're grateful for those sponsors. We have two more, okay? So we have the legacy sponsor at the $15,000 level. We have Vinvari. Let's give them. Woo! So these are all the companies that support homeless families, and so again, please consider supporting them as businesses. And last but not least, at our presenting sponsor at the $25,000 level is Susan Kammer, broker and realtor for Windermere Real Estate. Woo! Yes. Attaway. I love it. Susan brings expertise in Alliance Real Estate broker. She's a background and licensed general contractor. And I've seen it firsthand. She has 20 years of construction experience, which comes in handy when you're remodeling and doing those things you do to those homes. So let's really look to Susan for your real estate. So if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, give Susan a call. She's totally happy to help. All right? So you bet. And oh, by the way, John and Susan Kammer, Susan's husband, are co-founders of Vision House. So that, to me, is even more of a shining star. Thank you so much. Just for your generous love and support from the start to now, you all continue to play such an important role. So thank you, Susan, for your sponsorship. I'm full of good news. We're not done, okay? Thanks to those folks, we've underwritten the event, and also thanks to a group of generous donors who risked to remain anonymous. We have a challenge gift today of $125,000, okay? So we should be cheering for that one last time. I will speak to that later, but that's going to allow you to double your money and really impact even more moms and kids. So let's get to the matter at hand. Homelessness is devastating for children. It's debilitating for their parents. But in the path for life, they can begin through the power of one night. And so I have a short video to share with you right now that will give you an idea of what your gift will do today and how you can help restore families by giving them that place of safety and the power of one night. So let's watch this video.
When you give to Vision House, you are sparking a real change that lasts. First, you are providing a real home to help mothers and children make a real recovery. This transitional housing lasts for more than a few days or a couple of months, often about a year for families who want a permanent change. Families choose and own their plan, learning to stand on their own 2 feet and to be accountable. They sign a lease and help pay for their rent through what they make at their job, about 30% of their income, and your gift helps them find work. Kids, moms, and dads go through counseling, and parents choose classes to learn about healthy relationships, finances, keeping a home in good order, even cooking lessons. Living at Vision House demonstrates a healthy community with friendships, support, and the love and grace to try and try again. They're also invited to study scripture and to pray. Your gift is helping people transform from the inside out, and you're helping break the cycle of homelessness one family at a time for this generation and those to come.
And now, with passion and drive to do something about this, please welcome Vision House Executive Director Melissa Gehrig. Let's give her a round of applause.
Welcome. I have to tell you, when I walked in this room, I went, whoa. It's been 3 years since we've been together. 3 years. And look at the turnout. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome. I'm going to get right to the issue here. Jim mentioned how devastating homelessness is for families with children. And you see homelessness all over the news and the paper and such. And generally what we're seeing or hearing about are individuals who are on the streets in the tents, and that's considered chronic homelessness. But what we don't see generally are families with children. They call them the hidden homeless. And there are many reasons for that, one of which is that if a parent is really fearful that if somebody finds out that their children are with them and they're homeless, then they will be taken away from them. So it's devastating. I wanted to also mention that, you know, with the individual homelessness, the news that we hear is not so good. Oftentimes there is no solution. But I want you to know that at Vision House, for 32 years, we have had a program that works to end homelessness for families with children. 32 years. We have a program with an average over those years of 90% success rate of transitioning families to housing with lasting change. As I mentioned, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you being here today. There's a hymn that most of you know that's based on the scripture from Lamentations. Great is thy faithfulness. And I'm so grateful that God has called me to this work. But I want you to know today that I'm grateful for you, for your impact on the work that we do, for your impact on the families who are in need. If it weren't for you, I don't know whether we would have gotten through COVID the way we did. We were able to keep our doors open, continue to provide services to families with children. Things looked different, but we didn't stop doing what we did. And so thanks to you, families are still transitioning. We were able to actually maintain that high success rate during the COVID years. We were also able to open a diversion center, which is another strategy to help homelessness, and have been able to serve over 500 families each year since that center opened in 2021. So thanks to you and your faithfulness in supporting our work. One of the stories that I love the most about this diversion center is it provides an opportunity for families who are on the streets, living in cars, and usually what happens is when they try to call service providers or agencies for help, they get a voicemail, they get an answering machine. There are very few places that actually answer the phone, and we are committed, the staff at the diversion center and all of us are committed to picking up that phone or calling them back within 48 hours, because it's a relationship that most of these families need to be able to trust that somebody out there cares for them. So we had a mom who came to the diversion center, and she had made an appointment because it's a confidential location and it's an appointment-only facility. She had come to the diversion center to meet with our staff, and she had just gotten a job, and we were so excited for her. However, when she showed up, they told her that she wasn't dressed appropriately. Now, this mom had been living in her car with her children for 3 weeks, hadn't taken a shower, hadn't washed her clothes. Fortunately, in our diversion center, we've added showers and laundry facilities. We were able to have this mom and her children take a shower. They were able to wash their clothes for the first time in 3 weeks, and we gave her gift cards to be able to go buy clothes. She went back to work. They said, you can stay. So she was able to keep her job. So thanks to you, that's a service that we've been able to provide over this past year. COVID has been devastating for all of us, and family homelessness has increased in 2020 for the first time in 4 years, believe it or not. 32% of all the homeless in King County are in families with children. The top reason that families have indicated for being homeless are loss of a job. 79% of the families who are experiencing homelessness lost a job. The second reason was increase in rent. They couldn't stay in their home. And then the third reason was domestic violence, which, if you can imagine what we've all been through COVID, that there's been a rise in that as well. Loss of employment, like a mom named Maria, who was in the medical profession for 21 years. Never thought she'd lose her job. She had a good job. COVID hits, they cut the staff, and she lost her job, and she found herself unable to pay her rent, ultimately having to go to a shelter with her 2 children. Devastating. Or Dan and Sheila. Dan had 2 restaurant jobs, just making ends meet for he and his wife and their 2 children. COVID hits, restaurant shut down, he lost his jobs, both of them. They've been sleeping in a car for 9 months. 2 adults, 2 children, one of whom is an adolescent who is autistic. Can you imagine trying to care for a medically fragile child living in a car? They got guinea pigs because that's one of the things that has enabled this boy to become verbal, but the guinea pigs are in the car with them as well. I can't imagine. When people lose jobs, what do they do with their children? During COVID, childcare centers have closed. We have a shortage of childcare teachers right now as well. And so moms and dads have had to make the choice of either going back to work and finding somebody to watch their kids, or leaving their kids at home, or quitting their jobs so that they can care for their children. On top of that, kids, as you know, were doing school at home. So the emotional toll that these factors took on the homeless population, families in our transitional housing program, as well as in with the families that call into our diversion center looking for help. And the shelters closed or reduced their capacity as well. Furthermore, families were afraid to go to emergency shelters, either because there was violence happening there or because they were afraid that they would get COVID. So there was just no good solution. We've seen an increase of families living in cars, significant increase. We've seen an increase in families with children who are autistic, who are homeless. We've seen an increase in mental health challenges, and then self-medicating to try to deal with the stress and the anxiety. We've seen an increase in mental health challenges for children as well, and that's just heartbreaking. They're fearful, they're guarded, they have an inability to trust. There's no sense of normal. Now, oftentimes when we talk about homelessness, people will be quick to say, it's a common question, don't you think it's because of an individual's weakness or failure? And that may be true for some, but when we talk about addiction, usually there is a reason that they got there. And so what we're talking about there is the root cause of homelessness. I've heard it said that homelessness is not a resource issue, but a relationship issue. So we're talking about moms and children who have experienced abuse, neglect, have been left in places by themselves with no sense of normal and no stable relationship. Now, you and I have had the benefit of strong relationships in our lives that have kept us afloat when we've had setbacks. But imagine being a mom with a good job, she gets breaks her back or something, can't afford to stay in her apartment, doesn't have any family to support her. She has no choice but to become homeless. But we have a promise at Vision House, which is that we will help families address the root cause of homelessness. And as you saw in the short video clip a minute ago, we're giving families time to stabilize, to really address the issues that they've been living with for so long. We're giving them an opportunity to talk with staff, to help to uncover their strengths and to begin to dream again so that they can set goals for their future. Now, certainly in King County, we all know that the housing supply and the household incomes have not kept pace with job growth and rent increases. That's why at Vision House, we have our sights on building additional housing facilities in Renton. And adding to that, I am dreaming of program space where we can invest in a robust workforce development program so that every family that comes to our program can be coached and mentored and have opportunities to go back to school and get their degree or even their GED, and then go on to working with work coaches and all of the things that come into that workforce development to provide the skills that they may never have learned to obtain a job or to get a job with a higher earning power so they can afford to live in this area. We're also hoping to open a second diversion center this year so that we can serve an additional, hopefully 500 families to give them that person-to-person care that is so desperately needed. If they can build a relationship with us on the front end, then we commit to staying with them as they leave our program to continue to be their community of support. There are families who are ready. They want to do the work to make lasting change for themselves and their children. And we promise that we will work with them on that, not by giving them a handout, but by giving them a hand up, by equipping them with the skills and tools that they need to do the work to make lasting change for themselves. That's why I'm so grateful for you. You can make an impact on a family today. You can make an impact on a child's life today. You can give a child a future of endless possibilities. Great is your faithfulness, and I thank you for that.
As a football coach, I'm always looking for passion and drive, and Melissa, you can play on my team anytime. Someone else with passion and drive is our next guest, our guest speaker, Dr. Gregg Jantz. Had the blessing of knowing Dr. Gregg Jantz for a long time. Here's a few things you should know, just in case you don't know who he is. He's a world-renowned expert on depression, anxiety, abuse, and addiction. He's a best-selling author of, get this, over 40 books. He's appeared on CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, CNN. You've seen it. He's been there. He lives here with his lovely wife, LaFawn, here in Edmonds, and we're grateful to have him this morning. So please, let's give him a warm welcome, Dr. Gregg Jantz.
Hey, good to see you today. Isn't it good to be together? Oh, my goodness. Okay, 2019, you remember the video came out, Seattle is dying, Como News, the documentary. Here we are. Then COVID hit, right? Wow. Jim, by the way, Jim, as you were sharing earlier, I actually wrote down the word faithful. You have been so faithful. And Jim has impacted the lives of my two sons, but your heart for Vision House, you've been so faithful. I just feel like you needed to be acknowledged. Yeah? Well, what have we been through together? I mean, all of us, we all walked through this together. 2019, COVID, pandemic is announced. I made a list of all the things that I went through. We even have a new language. We have a new lexicon. Social distancing 2.5 years ago, we didn't hear, what, social distancing? Oh, how about this? We had a stay-at-home order. Was that something new? Flatten the curve. Remember we had, what, was it 2 weeks to flatten the curve? We had shelter in place, too. If you were in a shelter, that didn't make much sense, but then we had essential versus non-essential people and workers. In the state of Washington, we had essential, we had cannabis, and we had liquor, and we had counselors. I was on the essential list. Isn't that interesting? We got to keep going. Oh, what about all the abbreviations? PPE? I mean, how about WFH? Work from home. So we worked from home, or some of us did. Then we had the Delta. We had every variation of whatever the virus was. We had Delta. We had Omicron. Now, what do we have now? See, we don't even care anymore. We have the B.A2. And we're told, depending on who you listen to, but we have 24 variants lined up that are probably going to be next. Hang on, it's not over. If you were born, though, in the last 2 years, you're a corona baby. Really, there's a term for corona babies, the last 2 years. How about any of you do this, doom scrolling, you pull out, and I saw my wife do this a few times. And it's a hypnotic state of focusing on the negative. Yes? Okay, and then another thing started in Seattle. We had the great Seattle toilet paper scare. Remember this? No, it started in a Costco not far away from where we live. And somebody decided to buy a lot of toilet paper. And then it went nationwide, right? And people were trading and bartering toilet paper, and garages were full. But you take and you look, it had nothing to do with COVID. Toilet paper is not even remotely related to a virus. Fear runs in herds, and that's what's happening now. We're still running in a herd, and the fear comes out. But what if you're on the edge of homelessness? And what does this do? Emergency rooms, some of them came up with a new term, by the way, because where do people go? We have COVID psychosis. So when people have had enough, they've been overburdened, they're weary, they're taxed, it's been chronic stress way too long, and some of us know somebody that's like, this happened. And what happened was they kind of break a little bit from reality. There's a term for that, COVID psychosis. It kind of came out of emergency rooms. So what we know now, some of us have had Zoom exhaustion, right? We did the work from home, TV viewing. I had to figure this out. TV viewing went up to 41 hours a week average. What are we doing? 41 hours a week? That's a work week on TV. For our kids. Gaming went up 50%, just doubled. How many kids, because virtual schooling did not work. 2021, we had the worst academic failure on record, right? The kids were on their surfaces looking at a teacher, maybe, because they also had 2 devices, a cell phone and probably a computer, and they're playing online games with kids in the classroom. Online didn't work, and where this has taken us. We've really, as you look at the highest academic failure, you know, if you look at what's happening with some of the younger kids, and you can ask a speech pathologist, are you busy now? Speech pathologists generally are pretty busy helping kids develop language and speak correctly, because we use facial learning and we didn't see each other's faces for a while. So that brings us to where we are. In the state of Washington, we're in a mental health crisis. We're not doing really well. I mean, if we just say it, we got to look at this and go, the reality is we're not doing well. And we could do a lot of comparison to other states that are doing better, but the point is we're here and we need to figure out what to do with it. As we look at what's happening in our 12 to 17-year-olds, nationwide, and it's hard to say, but nationwide, 12 to 17-year-olds, the second leading cause of death is suicide. Now in the county, one over, Snohomish County, in 2021, and you have to dig to get this because it's nothing that we're too proud of. But in 2021, for the 12 to 17-year-olds, suicide was the first cause of death. Now that's weird and hard to even say. Isn't that just strange to even say it? But we hear we're doing better, but we're not. We're not doing better. And we look at where has this taken us? 45,000 families have left the public school system, and that number is still growing. Last week, if you call the Department of Education in our state, they will tell you there's 514 applications for new schools. People are unhappy with what's going on, and it's created a mental health crisis. And we have something now that it's called anticipatory anxiety. And anticipatory anxiety is just that anxiety that what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And when we look at what's happening to our homelessness, in some ways, it's a little bit embarrassing because there's things that we can do. I visited Vision House last week, went and talked with Melissa, and something dawned on me. I go, Vision House, what's their vision statement? And so I wrote it down. Our vision is to inspire our community to unite. Love that. That all people can have access to a healthy home. So there's approximately right now 100-ish on a waiting list to get help, to get that sustainable housing. And I can tell you, because what Vision House does and their formula, it's kind of a tactical formula because they cover different areas that you won't see in a normal shelter. And by the way, normal shelters, many have not even opened up to full capacity again. The need is great. You may not be aware, but even in our state, 72 mental health facilities that were state funded closed up. 72. And so you're going to see more on the streets. You're going to see more of what we're seeing now until we intervene. And we can do this because we know the formula works. When I visited Melissa, I said, what are you seeing since the pandemic? So I got my little notepad out. She said, well, there's more relapses. There's loss of jobs. She said, loss of housing. And then she said, there's more extreme domestic violence. And then she reminded me that not all shelters have opened up to full capacity. And if you need help and you call someplace and you get a recorded message, that's not real encouraging. So I love how Vision House values every life. And so how they measure a family's well-being, I mean, I kind of dug into this because I wanted to kind of get what is it that's really working. And they measure family well-being. I made a list from their paperwork, but adequate income's got to be there. We've got to have employment. There's got to be a recovery or counseling needs. And I love what Melissa shared about what they want to do with that. Of course, I'm a mental health professional. I'm going to love that piece. The sustainable housing and the financial literacy. People have to know and figure out, how do I do this? And have the education. And what I noted, the parent-child relationships. And Melissa's right about the hidden homeless, the kids and families that are in the cars, and they're in our area. And it's always kind of shocking because you don't always see it, but when you start to see how many people are in that place, and I can't imagine being with guinea pigs in the car, but just the place that takes us. Here's what I did. Here's what I discovered. It's my own term, but Vision House creates what I call a growth flow. They start growing people in these different dimensions of their life. Again, it's very tactical, very strategic. And as people grow in one area, they start to grow in another. You've all heard of the growth mindset. It's kind of a term in education a lot, but they've created a growth flow. And here's what I noticed. They're helping people reestablish a sense of value, a sense of who they are. I have value. And there are three basic human needs. The need for acceptance, which means I need to know I'm loved. The need for affirmation. I need to know that I have value. And a need for acknowledgement. I need to know that there's a purpose for me. They're addressing those three basic human needs. And when those needs are met, things begin to happen. We start to grow. And so the life skills, Melissa, that I noticed, you're providing life skills, you're giving a stable and trustworthy, I had to write this down, trustworthy support system. And you're teaching those in need how to have healthy relationships. Isn't that the key? The healthy relationships. When you walk through our doors at where I'm from, there's a verse on the wall, and it's Jeremiah 29:11. And it says this: the Lord promises plans for you to give you a future and a hope. And the plans I have for you are to prosper you and to give you a hope and a future. And this is what Vision House is doing. Hope comes when we have a plan, and they've created that plan. And as a mental health professional, I just want to interject, it works. And I'm really pleased that we can be a part of it. I want to thank my wife, who gets me involved in all the good things. And it was because of LaFawn that I even knew about Vision House. So I want you to see a video of how this really works. This is a video of Jenny and how it worked.
Hi, my name is Jenny, and this is how Vision House changed my life. Growing up, I got a good job. I was able to travel and be a girl in my 20s and party with my friends. I was just having the time of my life. Well, that time of my life turned into drinking all the time. I ended up going through treatment a few times. I was sober a month and I got pregnant with my daughter, Liliana. That was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I got 3.5 years sobriety, and then I got back into a toxic relationship to where I had a horrible relapse. I ended up drinking again for the next 1.5 years or so, and I went to jail for my first time in my life. When I got out, I reached out to Bree, let her know what the current situation was, and she ended up within no time at all, found me a place for my daughter and I, Lily, to stay.
She was such a self-starter and such a hard advocate for herself and her daughter. She wanted it, and that's what it takes.
She was just there to listen a lot and just tell me to keep going.
When Jenny realized that we were all here for her, she was able to continue to move forward. I think it meant a lot for her to know that there was an agency and a place where she could stay that was just here to support.
There was enough rules to make it so that I didn't relapse. I was held accountable for my own apartment. Lily has seen me go from very distracted, not very present parent to reading with her every night. We're able to travel together now, and it's a life about her and I, and I'm not preoccupied with my disease.
One thing for Jenny is that she has such a big heart. And a lot of times I think that she forgot about putting herself first. Almost need reassurance that it's okay to love yourself and love your daughter and put you two first before anybody else. When Lily first walked in and saw her room, I think that it showed that both of them could finally breathe.
To be able to come to a place where I could live safely and comfortably with Lily, to have to go any more time without her with me was unbearable. I mean, honestly.
If Jenny would have lost Lily, Jenny probably would not be here. I believe Jenny will stay sober.
By the time I moved out, I had gained 7 months sobriety. Just coming here to Vision House has helped me realize my faith has always been there for me. I saw light again.
I'm so proud of Jenny. With everything that she's gone through, she knows how hard it is, and so she is able to give back and help others that are in need.
It's really cool to see somebody that you've walked alongside with in the very beginning to the end, seeing her achieve everything that she wanted to when she was here. What I would say to the donors who are supporting Vision House is you're giving a family a second chance.
There would be hundreds of people that would be without them.
We're able to give a family a stability for still temporary, but longer term where they can obtain or maintain school and employment.
I recently got the job of my dreams in the travel industry. I get to work for the airlines. An amazing relationship with my parents and my friends and the rest of my family now. Life is a lot different than it used to be, in a much better way. It was just the biggest blessing I could have ever asked for.
Like I said earlier, passion and drive is what's making lasting change, and we saw that in Jenny. What a story. She speaks on behalf of the moms and kids that maybe can't share or are waiting to be helped. And so it's our call right now. This is the place and space where we can help, because Jenny and moms like her are feeling lost and alone. They're scared. And right now, we can tilt that scale. Right now, we can make the difference. And it truly is just an emotional plea to help. It's that one night of safety that we've talked about really throughout this entire afternoon for a mom and child. It just takes $60 to provide that one night. I have never been sleeping in my car with a child with need or whatever else it might be, but I cannot imagine that first night where you walk into the room and there's a bed and there's warmth and there's comfort and there's care, when the previous night there was not. And so today it's the opportunity for us to give. Again, $60 provides that one night of safety. I want Jenny to be heard. I want her voice, her story to echo through our giving, and so that we can give that to others, just like Jenny. What a great success story. As I mentioned earlier, Vision House has identified the need for 10,000 nights of safety for moms and kids this year, and that's what we're trying to fund right now today. I also mentioned earlier that some generous donors have stepped up to come together, to pool their money, to provide a large, like I said, the largest challenge gift we've ever had at an event like this, up to $125,000. Which truly means your gift will be doubled when you give a gift today of $180 or more. That's the groups that we're going to give. We want people to stretch, we want people to think about their giving. And so today, it's called a challenge for a reason, because they want to challenge you to maybe give more than you were originally thinking. And so again, any gift today given $180 or more will be doubled. That 180 provides 3 nights. I think of that like a long weekend, right? If I'm Jenny and looking for a place on a Thursday and then on Friday, I'm able to come to Vision House, then you're giving me a Saturday and you're giving me a Sunday. I just cannot imagine what a great relief that would be. And because of the challenge gift, those 3 nights would double into 6. That turns into a week. And you can see how this math works. It's like your one night combined with my 3 nights combined with your 1 week, it then leads to life transformation. So consider what you're going to give. 180 equals a long weekend. 1,800 equals a month, and that turns into 2 months. Those opportunities for safety, for counseling, for care, for a homeless family who doesn't just need a roof over their head. It's not just, bed and a cot and a roof and a piece of bread. It is truly life transformation through all the other resources that these families receive through Vision House. So table hosts, you got everyone here. Now it's your cue to get your envelopes out. This is what we do right at these special events. We get the envelopes out, and I would like you to open up the packet and hand it out to everyone around your table as we do that. And as you get that envelope out, I would encourage you again to not just write a number down, but to prayerfully consider what your number is going to be, because you walked in probably with a preset idea, but now you have the challenge, gift, the opportunity, you've heard the stories. I'd encourage you to give as generous as you can to the work of Vision House. So as you look at that, I want you to consider how many nights of safety can you provide. And remember, every gift over $180 or more will be doubled by the generous challenge gift up to $125,000. And so make a real difference by giving sacrificially. You know, when I look at giving, I look at kind of the widow's mite. She gave all that she could. And when I look at this room, God does not call us all to give equal gifts. I believe he calls us to give equal sacrifice. Whatever a sacrificial gift is for you, it might be $60. For someone else, it might be $60,000. I don't know. But let's give what we can, and then together as one community, we can make a difference. So take those cards, fill them out. Your generosity will help provide these 10,000 nights of safety. And I firmly believe what we heard from Melissa and Dr. Jantz today, we can then equip and move these families to wholeness and to healing. So thank you for giving your very, very, very best gift. By the way, you might notice on the reply, there was a place to give via PayPal. Yes, it's 2022, right? We can go PayPal, we can go Venmo. There's even this crazy QR code on the back. Take your camera out, scan it. It'll take you right to a website if you want to do it that way. Or we can go the traditional way of filling out the card, putting your credit card information in there. And by the way, you'll notice there's 2 pieces of paper on that form. Keep those 2 pieces of paper intact. Do not take one with you. We use that internally to account for this and to make sure that we can understand your gift clearly to the best of our ability. You know, Vision House really is all about saying thank you as well. They do a great job thanking those that give, and so they value you. They value your gifts. They value your time that you gave today, and so with that, they want to keep you informed. There's a wonderful newsletter that's created about once a quarter that goes out, and it tells real stories of life transformation just like Jenny's. And so if you want to receive that newsletter, please write your mailing address as well on that form somewhere. So we can send you a newsletter, we can speed up the processing of your gifts, we can say thank you for your gifts, and just really appreciate your generosity. And so when you're finished, table host, it's your job to make sure everyone's doing their best there to fill those out. We're going to want those back in the envelope that the table host gave out to you, and put both parts of that form back in there in the small white envelope, and you'll get a tax receipt here. It'll be mailed to you shortly. So we'll give you a few more seconds to do that. There's a lot of generosity in this room. I'm reminded of our sponsors and those that gave. I'm reminded of our board members. I think I might have missed actually one of our sponsors, a good friend of mine, and really both guys at Campbell Nelson Volkswagen. So if you're in the room, still love you. Appreciate your generosity. And everyone right now, appreciate your generosity as well as you're filling out those and putting them back in the envelope. So with that, I want to say a big thank you. Thank you for, again, investing your time and your money and your resource going on social media. I guarantee you, as you leave this place, someone will ask you, what did you do today? There can be 300 plus voices that can talk about this very event, can talk about Vision House and the amazing work that's being done. So continue to carry on the ambassador voice into our community. You know, God calls us to take care of women and children like Jenny. And guess what? You just did. You made an investment of time, of prayer, of resource. And I can tell you from my knowledge of Vision House, it's one of the most effective investments you can make in the lives, the transformational lives, not only here on earth, but also in eternity. So thank you for providing that lasting change. Before you leave, we got 2 gifts to give. One is those table hosts. You know, I know we did a lot of clapping today, a lot of cheering today, but I want to give them one more round of applause. They did an amazing job getting you here. And so as a gift, table hosts, you are welcome to take that beautiful orchid that's in the middle of the table or pass it to a friend. But I don't want to see someone walking out with 6, orchids in their hands. Make sure it goes to someone or as a gift to someone. But table hosts, those are designated for you to either take home or give to a friend. The other is a great surprise. I was really blown away to hear this as a gift to you. Everyone will be receiving a copy of Dr. Jantz's book entitled The Anxiety Reset, which is wonderful. Let's give Dr. Jantz a round of applause. This, again, is a gift for you or give it to someone, but it's a life-changing approach to overcoming fear, stress, worry, panic attacks, OCD, and more. So thank you, Dr. Jantz. I believe they'll be on the tables on the way out. Make sure that you get that gift. So that is it, folks. You did it. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to hang out for a few minutes, share in fellowship. I bless and release you. Go out and make it a great day and be a world changer. Thank you.